Hello, co-commentators Mickey and Jonas. How are you? Can I ask you one question? Is it loud enough? Louder? Less loud? Because somebody reset everything. Is this good? It's good. Okay. Well, you haven't missed anything because we haven't had any cars for the driverless track drive. Austin, are you still awake? Are you still awake, Austin?
Yeah, I had a bit of a nap just now, but I've woken back up and hopefully we'll see some cars quite soon. I think I can see a few lining up just at the entry to the dynamic area. Officially, the event did start over an hour ago, but after the initial walk of the track where we saw about 30 or 40 team members walk multiple laps, we've not seen any action whatsoever. Now that the acceleration event has ended, hopefully we'll get some more cars over here and some more fans watching.
I was taking a look at the acceleration results. We have had some blistering fast times from the green team from Trondheim and Delft as well, all quite close to each other. Some of those cars, I think Trondheim and green team will definitely come here to have an attempt on the driverless autocross. Austin, teams will have 2 attempts, right?
Yeah, confirmed with Christian. Each team will have 2 attempts, time dependent. Obviously, nobody's gone out over the first hour, so I suspect Christian won't make much provision for any added time at the end of the event, even if teams haven't had a chance to make both runs. While we're waiting, just a reminder that if your team has any nominations for the Sportsmanship Award, to get those in. Each year the Sportsmanship Trophy is awarded to the team which demonstrates the best sportsman qualities. The team gets any team gets the opportunity to nominate any other team who's helped them. You can fill out the form, which is linked in the welcome ceremony, or put a comment into the box at the FSG counter as well.
So we're just informed by Christian, who is the head official for the driverless event, that Trondheim is lining up. They're coming this way. So we do expect some action there. They're doing the last checks now near the old Brunel container for the people knowing their way around. And then it will come up here, probably past the queue, and line up immediately. So actually, Austin, we just had quite a lengthy conversation with one of the guys who built the Rome car last year. I learned a lot.
Yeah, it was quite informative. It was we were tempted to put him onto the microphone for this, but he's a bit busy with some other actions. So we'll try to get him here tomorrow to explain a bit more about the inner workings of some of these autonomous vehicles, because he was quite knowledgeable. As we wait for the first car to approach, just a little bit more information. The track is just over 220 meters long. It's basically composed of a few sections of the main autocross track and endurance track, which we'll see in the next few days. Basically the wings section of the course, and then it cuts through to the kink just in front of the FSG forum, and then after the kink it cuts through back to the wings section. So it utilizes, I'd say this track is probably 95% utilizing portions of the main autocross track with a few cut-throughs. In terms of scoring in this event, 10 points are awarded to every team that finishes at least one run without DNF or disqualification. If a team's corrected elapsed time is below T max, which is the time for driving the lap at 4 meters per second, points are based on the following formula.
Here we go again. Okay, do it.
So, 90 times in brackets, the top line of the brackets is T max, which is the time for driving the lap with 4 meters per second, minus T team I, which is the team's time including penalties of run I, over T max minus T min, which is the fastest corrected elapsed time of all the teams. That is then put into a filter of the maximum between that score and the average of all of the team's runs. Once again, if you're looking at the rules, it makes a bit more sense. If we had an Excel document, I think it would spit numbers out quite easily, but trying to explain it is a little bit tricky. But basically, the event is worth 100 points. The fastest team will receive 100 points, and everyone else will receive fewer points than that, down to a minimum of 10 if a team finishes.
And I think ever since we have had the very lengthy endurance or track drive from dart racing a couple of years back, there's also a minimum speed that teams should adhere to. So the maximum lap times.
That's for track drive tomorrow.
That's for the track drive, but also for the autocross there is a maximum minimum speed, right?
Yeah, it's equivalent to 4 meters per second. Just a reminder that a run isn't complete until the car displays a solid blue light. It must stop within 30 meters of the finish. If it stops with a solid blue light in a different area after it's completed the run, that's a DNF in this event, but will be minus 50 points in the track drive event tomorrow. Meanwhile, we've got car 63 from Trondheim, who's performed quite well in the driver events so far today.
Yeah, I think they won the skid pad event, the manual skid pad event this morning. They were fastest time there. And also in the acceleration this afternoon, they were, I believe I saw a third place for them. Of course, everything we say is unofficial here.
For those of you here or watching on a live stream that haven't been with us for any of the other driverless events, there are a few more lights that you'll see on the car. For the electric driverless cars, they still have the tractive system active light at the top of the roll hoop, which is either green or flashing red. If it's green, it means the car is in a low voltage mode, a safe state. Red flashing means the car has high voltage active. Before the car moves, we'll hear a beep. The additional lights are on the side of the roll hoop or somewhere near the side of the roll hoop. Will either be yellow or blue. If they're solid yellow, it means the car is ready to begin its mission. If they're flashing yellow, it means the car is on its mission. If they turn blue, it means the car has successfully completed its mission. And if they flash blue, it means that the run has been stopped or the car has not successfully completed its mission. You can now hear the ready to drive beep and the autonomous mode, and immediately the car swerves sharply left as soon as it takes the starting line. Very quick reactions from the remote emergency switch operative, the safety responsible, to stop the car from plowing into us or the timing van. But that is unfortunately a DNF.
In total, we have 15 out of 27 teams that have passed the brake EBS. So all those teams are eligible to drive. But since this driverless autocross is not part of the regular electric and combustion competitions, but only part of the driverless cup, not all teams participate in that, Austin. Out of the back of our heads, between 5 and 10 teams is what we expect, and they all get 2 runs, as you have just said.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. The Driverless Cup is composed of a driverless design event worth 150 points, and then the driverless dynamic events, the driverless skid pad, driverless acceleration, driverless autocross, and track drive, for a total of 600 points.
And when we were just talking with some of the red shirts from the other teams, they indicated that we should pay attention also to Starkstrom Augsburg, that they were quite strong, they anticipate. And also EQRX is one of the top contenders, as we learned. We only saw the skid pad yesterday and the driverless acceleration this morning. That doesn't really compare to the challenge that lies ahead for the autocross, does it, Austin?
No, it's completely different. In both the skid pad and the acceleration, the course is nominally quite regular, either 2 perfect circles or a straight line. So the computation required isn't quite as complex as it is for what is really an arbitrary course. There are regulations for how closely the cones are spaced together, what colors the cones are, but aside from having a quick walk of the track earlier, the cars will have no knowledge of the circuit that they're about to encounter. There are 4 different types of cones. 3 of those are in use at the moment. We've got the big orange cones, which are placed at the start-finish line. We've got the small yellow cones, which should always be on the right side of the car, and the small blue cones, which should always be on the left side of the car. Team has just activated the car. We can see the HV system is active and the car is ready to begin its autonomous mission.
Lisbon was one of the teams that did complete the driverless acceleration with a 5.13. Puts them up, well actually that was a 4th place if my information is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, so they came in 4th, so they're doing quite well. In the skid pad event, they finished as well with a 11.45. That's certainly not the fastest time around.
Been a good start to the lap for them so far. They've made it through the front straight, now making their way through the wings section. Coming up to the,
White's there.
Had a bit of a swerve, but managed to stay within the lines, made it through the kink, which I think is going to be one of the trickier parts of the course based on how sharp the cones change direction. Now making its way through the final bit of the course across the finish line.
And we need to see a solid... Yes, now it ends the mission. So the audience was a bit early on that. We definitely need to see the solid blue light before we can start clapping. That is the point where the car has identified that it has successfully completed its mission. And that is the point when the team is safe, so to say. And then we can clap.
Yeah, those are always the most tense moments. It's like when the footballer has headed it and it's headed to the top corner of the goal. You're not sure whether the goalie is going to save it or not. It either goes in and everybody cheers, or it's blocked and everybody sighs. It's actually probably a bit more like just making sure the player is on side, as opposed to whether it's going to go in or not. Going to make sure the referee doesn't raise his flag. This is quite promising now that the acceleration event is finished. We've had a steady stream of cars making their way into this event. You can now see car 110 from US Augsburg.
So the Augsburg team wants to give a shout out to Nico Haya. That's their driverless head. And they get their beer for free from Munich Motorsport. We have to get behind that story, Austin.
Yeah, we'll try to get the inside scoop before the track drive tomorrow.
Maybe they just want to have free beer from Munich Motorsport. That can be as well, that they're using us.
Yeah, possibly, or somebody snitched and Munich Motorsport don't know that they're giving away their beer.
Okay, on to more serious things. We're getting ready for the track drive, or the autocross, I have to say.
Es geht los!
Here we go. That's an entertaining start. Definitely pushing it. Let's see how it handles the sharp corner over there. Does so very well. Whizzing by. And we go now from blinking orange to solid blue. That's a successful finish.
Looks to me that it's taken out 2 cones along the way. It's not a massive deal. We have 4-second penalty on top of the time that they completed.
Okay, well, Augsburg, car named Jojo, is being ready to be pushed away. The team from Munich now is approaching the starting position. Car number 31 from TU Munich, TU Fast. So, Austin, with a 2-second penalty per cone on such a short lap, this really dramatically decreases the time that Augsburg has from a 21.7 to a 25.7. That's huge.
Yeah, proportionally, it's a lot bigger of a punishment than it would be in a normal autocross lap. But actually, in terms of cone strike penalties, or down or out as the acronym is called, For a skid pad, it's 0.2 of a second, but for every other discipline, including acceleration, it's 2 seconds per cone. Now we've got car 31 from TU Munich approaching the starting line. The safety responsible is trying to engage autonomous drive on the vehicle, but every time he does, the car seemingly goes into a fault mode and flashes the blue light signifying that it's had its run terminated. I think at the moment they're trying a hard reset of everything.
We can see that Christian is clearly watching the time they have. So they have some time to fix whatever issue they have, but at a certain point they are being asked to leave this position. Oh, they fixed it, Austin. That's a good use of the maximum 30 seconds time allowed.
I'd say so.
27 seconds, that's decent. 10% margin. So they now have 30 seconds until the car starts going. 10 seconds left. Oh, the suspense is killing me, Austin.
Nach 30 Sekunden gibt das ein Q, wenn ich sage, darfst vordrücken und er fährt immer noch nicht.
Unfortunately, that's it for them. Have been asked by the official, by Christian, to push the button.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. Right as they got to the 30-second cutoff is when the car beeped and started flashing as if it was in a mission. And it just didn't do anything, so yeah, the team were forced to terminate the mission.
So Austin, this will count as a DQ for them. They have one attempt left.
Yeah, it must be quite frustrating for them, but the rules are the rules, and car didn't go in the allotted time, so we've got to keep it fair for everyone.
So that means that we can start taking a look at the next car that's now being pushed to the starting position. And that will be UAS Ulm, car number 44. After UAS Run, the queue looks empty for now. And while I'm saying it, the new car is being pushed into the queue.
And while Ulm is being pushed into position, just a reminder that if you are like Ulm and haven't completed the commentary form yet, you should do that so that when you're in this same situation, we can tell everyone more about your team and your car.
Yeah, for instance, I see a painting on the front nose. It's like is it a cannonball or is it a cat? I don't know, because we haven't got the form.
Yeah, it could be a Pokemon.
It does have a fiery trail behind it.
And it looks like it has a goatee as well. At the moment, the team are just making sure that the car is programmed in the right mode for autocross and not another event.
I'm gonna set these cones straight. Can you hold my tablet?
Yeah, of course.
Just fell over.
Way to take control of the situation, Steph.
We had some time left.
Ulm, who are known as Einstein Motorsport, look to be putting the driver back in the car and getting the push bar. Looks like they may not make their attempt at this moment in time.
Austin, can you check whether it's rear-wheel drive only? So Austin, you're taking a closer look at the car. They are indeed going back outside the track area. If my information is correct, this is the first electric car that the Einstein Motorsport has built. I haven't seen any historical results from past year from them, nor do they have a current world ranking position. So this is their first year electric car, and certainly we saw it moving before. So let's hope they can have the driverless functionality working as well. So up next is car number 90. That's from the Politecnico di Milano, car from Milan. Also for them a first-year driverless car. And they have done very well in the skid pad event, Austin, haven't they?
Yeah, I was really impressed with how quick they went in the skid pad.
Yeah, and especially considering the fact that it's first-year build. We have seen a lot of first-year cars in the past. For driverless, and not always successful in being able to drive. So the fact that they're here, past scrutineering and able to drive driverless, that's a great thing for them.
Yeah, when they set their time yesterday in this driverless skid pad, their times were comparable with quite a few other teams who have a few years of experience in the driverless. So, like you said, quite impressive what they did yesterday. Let's see if they can follow it up now.
So on the driverless acceleration, they unfortunately were not able to participate. I think that I heard from our commentator colleagues Mickey and Jonas that they were at the starting grid a couple of times trying to make an attempt to move, but the car simply wouldn't go. Let's see, usually this autocross event is a little bit easier for these cars for one reason or the other. Let's see if the car can pick up where the cones are and make a start. Austin, what's happening?
I can see one team member who's just pressurizing the emergency brake system with some air pumps. One team member is setting the correct mode for autocross on the steering wheel. One team member is putting the key in for the autonomous system to be operative. I think it's pretty standard procedure for them at the moment.
Here we go. First corner, always tricky. But I have to say, Austin, this is looking good for them. Oh.
Yeah, it's been clean so far. They've had a little bit of a wobble where we've seen a few cars have issue. Well, every car that's gone past has had an issue in that little spot.
So coming up to the finish line now, let's see if it can successfully complete its mission. Looking for the blue light. Oh, the suspense is killing me, Austin.
Will it go to finish mode?
I don't know. I wait 5 seconds and now I'll go to finish. Okay, I'll go.
Yeah, but then it is unsafe stop. And that
Oh, I had to push the button. Time was up. What can you say about this, Austin? I mean,
There are no words. It did the hard part.
they're quite okay though, the team members. I have to say, they were quite okay with it.
das waren keine Cones.
We heard the official ask, is it going to go full blue? And the team member said, well, I don't know. Let's see. Give it 5 seconds, and otherwise we push the button. So
Yeah, I think Christian would have given him a little bit more time, but I guess he had the feeling it wasn't going to change. So,
Das war nach 9:16 kann man das streichen.
but otherwise it was a nice clean run. Didn't hit any cones. Made it all the way around the course. Stopped when it was supposed to stop.
time itself was comparable to the time from Lisbon, but if I remember correctly, they do have 2 cones. So this would put them just in front of Lisboa, but unfortunately this is a DNF, although they finished. Still strange.
Yeah, of course the penalty for an unsafe stop is a DNF, and that's exactly what they had to do, even though when that was initiated the car was already stopped.
So far we have seen 5 attempts, 2 of them being successful. Augsburg and Lisbon. Up next, Austin, is car number 14 from Budapest. BME Racing. And Austin is going to take a look up close at their procedure. To be honest, Austin, the procedure itself is a lot better than in past years, where sometimes it took a long time before cars were able to drive. That has significantly improved. The official, Austin, has a timer as well. He just pressed the stopwatch.
Yeah, so everything is a lot more sped up than it was last year. Basically, the teams have 60 seconds once they get the car wheeled into position to get the car ready to go, and another 30 seconds once the driverless system has been initiated to start the mission. Additionally, teams aren't allowed to use laptops or plug in anything to the car while they're on the starting line here. They should do that all in the queue before they get here, so that does help speed things up a little bit. Still not the quickest thing in the world, but it is a marked improvement on what we've seen over the past few years.
Well, actually, these guys from Budapest are fastest so far, I think. Just put the car there, put it on. Now we can hear the beep. Let's see if it goes. No drama there. Whoa, now the car loses it, and the button was switched.
Yeah, the remote emergency switch was triggered by the safety responsible.
Car number 14.
It navigated through the first part of the first turn quite successfully, and then there's a slight right-hand kink before it goes left again, and it just didn't deal well with that at all. Had a few cones stuck under it, and yeah, it just all went wrong.
Das wäre, wenn wieder reingefahren wäre.
You know what this car's name is? From Budapest?
It's Lola. I was struggling
very well.
struggling to read with my sunglasses on, as per usual.
I actually don't know what I like better, Lola or Fred 2. Guess that's the code name. So they filled it in. Actually, they were the most recent team to fill it in. If you haven't filled in the commentator form, please do so for the autocross and endurance events the rest of the weekend.
Now we're at car 69, approaching our position. From DHBW Mannheim.
Wow, in endurance and autocross, their drivers have good nicknames, I can tell you that. So, car number 69, DHBW Mannheim, a local team. Probably this weekend, Austin, we can expect a lot of visitors from teams like Mannheim. One of two teams from Mannheim. I think we have Cure Mannheim as well.
I think so, yeah. It's not too far away. It's just up the road, or in my case, just up the train line.
Oh, this might be Cure Mannheim, by the way, because there's Cure on the rear wing.
Oh, yeah. Good spot.
So we have to get the team members behind the barrier. He has the fastest glasses I've so far seen. Sunglasses.
Say they're almost as cool as ours, Steph. Arguably.
Maybe cooler.
Yeah, it's possible. They're pretty cool. Oh no, the timing.
Oh.
Timing guys aren't going to be happy about that.
It's just the cones, no? The timing vehicle is just
right.
behind it.
That was almost an action replay of what happened in the first run we saw in this event earlier today. But that probably is one way to make the timing guys angry, is to run into the van. It's probably the only thing that makes them angrier than running into the timing beacon itself.
So this unfortunately will be a DNF for them. They have one attempt left to see what they can do to manage the first couple of meters and more, of course.
We did see Ulm pushed up to the starting line earlier, a few cars ago, but they didn't actually initiate their autonomous system. So I believe this will be the first run, or counted as the first run for them.
Austin, what is the sight that we can behold right now? Is that our youngest co-commentator coming in with cake?
It does indeed look like Jonas coming in with some cake. It looks like good cake as well.
Young Padawan cake he has. Chocolade.
Meanwhile, the team from Ulm has now completed their preparations. Just engaged the autonomous mission.
It's a bit tentative, but a lot longer than some other runs, so that's good. Steady as she goes. Let's see, this is the difficult section now with the kink, and after that the sharp turn. That seems to be the most difficult part to negotiate, other than the start. Well, the team itself is quite happy here over at our commentary position with the results so far. And I guess for a first driverless car, this is a very good performance. Let's see if it can finish and successfully complete the mission. Or it wants to do another lap. Don't stop me now. Ah, that was pressing the button. So unfortunately, no correct finish from them, but still a very good result. So we're complete now with all the four of us. Mickey, how was the acceleration event?
Well, it started up a little bit slow. First hour and a half there were no cars actually.
Did it get faster as the day went along? Did it accelerate?
Actually, the acceleration, the times, but they got better, and also a lot more cars competing. And actually, not sure whether you've seen the results or not. It's very, very close. There are 10 teams within 0.2 of a second, so that's very, very exciting. So it was very nice to see at the end.
Good. And some of the teams you've seen just now are coming back again for the track drive, for the autocross. I always say track drive, but it is the autocross, of course. Track drive is later. But, well, technically it's correct. They are driving the track, no?
Yeah. I mean, they are driving the track, but for the purposes of using the official terminology, track drive is tomorrow morning. Let's see how Hamburg can do now. We've just had 2 cars finish a lap, but have to complete an unsafe stop because the cars didn't recognize that they'd finished the mission successfully.
So up next, TU Hamburg, car number 78. I think TU Hamburg was one of the original teams that switched to driverless in the beginning, right, Austin?
Yeah, I think you're right, Steph.
We've seen them for quite a while now. With quite a distinct car. It's one of the easier cars for us to spot.
Yeah, especially with the sensors on the front wing, or as they call it, the aerodynamic sensor holder. Actually, I don't know if they call that but that's what I imagine they call it.
So they are discussing a bit amongst each other whether everything is okay. Attractive system light is on now. So everything okay, getting to the safe area where we are. It's getting a bit crowded here, so let us go to the side a bit. From a very exciting start, but immediately swerved to the right, hitting the 2 cones at the starting line. The third car already that we saw doing a similar move just after the start-finish line going, this time it was right, the other 2 cars went left into the timekeeping van, but why would that be, Austin? What do you think?
Well, what we've learned a little bit over the past few years of the driverless events, it's basically any time that the status changes is when the car has the biggest problems typically. So either at the start or the end or in some sort of transition that's different to what the car is doing for the rest of the mission is usually where the algorithms tend to go wrong. can see a few more cars joining the queue now. Unfortunately, it's behind the barriers and the timing screen from our viewpoint, so we can't quite see who those are yet, but we did hear a cheer coming from the stand just by the VW stand.
My guess would be Milan, Austin. I think I see a 9-0 in the rear wing. But probably everyone around the fence and live stream viewers already saw that. Okay, so the car coming around now, that's the Munich car, so it was in Milan. From our vantage point, Austin, they did look similar, because we were quite convinced it would be Milan.
Yeah, I was non-committal. Like I said, I couldn't quite see, but it is a lot more apparent now that it's a bit closer. It is TU Munich. TU Munich did make an attempt earlier on. Believe their car didn't get going after the autonomous system was activated, so they were charged with a disqualification. I can hear the car from Munich making a buzzing sound.
Yeah, I can.
They've just turned it off and on and it's stopped, so must be okay.
Well, this is their final attempt. There we go.
The tractor system active light and the autonomous mode light both showing the appropriate colors at this stage. Flashing red and solid yellow.
If you look at the wings of the Munich car, they're quite high up. We have seen some of the cars at the skid pad event this morning that were scraping the ground nearly. This is considerably higher.
Yeah, especially the front wing.
So something is happening. Yes. There we go. With quite some pace as well. First corner completed. Team members are quite happy with the performance. They're not entirely sure whether the car is able to finish, I think.
Warte. Ja.
I don't think, Austin, that they fully expected this. They're way too happy for that. Very good job from them, guys. It's quite fast as well.
I think there were a few cones on the far side, but it doesn't really matter.
No, it's 25 seconds, so that's a solid second place for them.
Yeah, normally the safety responsible is up here very serious, sort of willing the car along the whole way. This safety responsible is almost laughing in amazement every single time the car made it around a new corner.
I'm quite sure they didn't expect this result.
No, I don't think they did. But I mean, it's really important points for them in the overall competition.
I think they still can't believe it. The hardest part will be figuring out why it finished. If they can do this again tomorrow. Up next is car number 24 from TU Darmstadt. And actually we've got a queue forming and cars lining up beside each other. One of the runs is for the cars that still have to do that first run. The other run is for the second runs. I think the one closest to the timing screen is the first run queue.
Yeah, we've got just under 45 minutes remaining, so hopefully that's enough time to give everybody all the runs that they want.
Curious to see which side Munich will go, because they could also go back to the queue. But I think they elect not to, and to leave the dynamic area on the other side near the pit straight. So on the timing screen, I don't know if it's on the big black boards as well, but at least on the timekeeping website, it does still show the times for Milan and Ulm, where, although Austin, they were not able to successfully complete their mission. The light simply wouldn't turn on solid blue, so this will be a DNF, although that the timekeeping website now states the time.
Yeah, we'll let Darmstadt have their run and we'll talk about the technicalities of those situations in a little bit more detail afterwards.
Good start for Darmstadt. Remember, they have been doing this driverless autocross and track drive for a while now, so clearly shows. Hardest section with the, here we go, and yes, it does almost renegotiate, find the way, but unfortunately couldn't pick it up where it left. Still a great result.
Yeah, it was impressive that it just about found its way back onto the track. Went a little bit too far, and I think the cones that were stuck in front of it probably didn't help either. Yeah, it's an unsafe stop and a DNF for Darmstadt. Yeah, for Ulm and Milano, they did cross the line, but then an unsafe stop was initiated. And the penalty for an unsafe stop during the autocross is a DNF. So it's not a direct DNF, I guess we could call it a transitive DNF, which is possibly why our timing screens don't handle it in the same way that the official timing
and
screen
they did
should.
set the time, so
Yeah.
Up next, the car from Dresden. Car number 59 from Elbflow Race, their team name. So this morning at the driverless acceleration, they were not attending. I did see them earlier, but it can also be in the manual skid pad. Let me check the driverless skid pad for them. No, they haven't done the driverless skid pad either. At least maybe they made an attempt, but they didn't succeed at doing so. So hopefully this they will be able to complete this event as their first driverless event of the day. So Elbflow Race does have a little bit more work than some of the other teams on the car. Still, they are so far within the time limit. You can now clearly hear and see it spin. So everybody's safe. As soon as the team member presses the button, they have 30 seconds, starting now.
Yeah, the button doesn't seem to be working. He's pressed it about 25 times at this point.
No, that's it for them. Fortunately, when the button was pressed, the car, it looked like it didn't really receive the message or so, because we couldn't hear or see anything, lights switching on and off. Lights moving from color, so nothing really happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure that repeatedly pressing the button helped things either. Normally that just makes things worse.
So up next is car number 222 from Napoli. second Italian team to make an attempt. We saw Milan before. So in the commentator questionnaire, the team indicates that their team goal, Austin, is to be able to drive at all. And as a matter of fact, we did saw them at least at the skid pad this morning. So that goal succeeded. Let's see if this goal of completing the autocross will succeed as well.
Yeah, one step at a time. This car is quite interesting. The rear wing is tilted backwards. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, at least the side of it. Or is it the entire wing itself that's tilted back? Let us take a bit of a higher position. I think everything is tilted back.
Yeah, I think so. It's possibly how they adjust the angle of the wing is just by adjusting the whole wing itself. I think they're
I think Christian indicated that their time was up. They have 1 minute, so they now are instructed to go back into the queue, and another team can get priority. So we have about half an hour left for this event. The end time is 6:30.
They've got a hashtag on the rear wing, which is probably quite appropriate. It says hashtag 404, driver not found. I think that's about what happened just then. It's a good way to summarize it.
Well, actually, I think just the preparation itself took a little bit too long. Arming the brake system, etc. Up next is car 110, car from Augsburg. They so far have the fastest time of the day with a 21.7, although in this attempt they clipped at least 2 cones that we could see of. So I'm curious to see what they do, Austin, whether they are going for a similar setting and keep it clean or turn it up to 11 and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think with the way things are going, if it were me, I would try to recreate their run just a little bit more cleanly. They're by far the fastest car that's finished a lap. And, I mean, they'd improve their lap time by something like 20% just by not hitting any cones.
Well, hopefully they have found the reason why they have hit those cones, whether it was a detection issue or actuation issue. And if they fixed it, there would be no reason to try and up the ante a little bit, just to be a little bit more safe, because the time they now have, even including cones, is really up there. So they have some margin.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think we're both of the same opinion on that. Let's see what the team thinks. So that's the £1,000,000 question, isn't it? Euro question, €1,000,000 question, yeah.
Yeah, it's euros here, Austin. Pound? What is a pound?
I don't know, it's unit mass.
Well, not in the metric system. So let's see what they can do. Definitely one of the strongest contenders this year in the driverless competition. The driverless cup, as I should say. Let's get los, so off for a start. And almost clipping the orange cones. This is not the same setting, I think, Austin. This is a bit faster than what we saw before. So this is more or less the place where it clipped the cone previous time around. Keeps it clean for now. Let's see if it's a controlled stop. It's quite a similar time. It's a 21.1, so they probably had the same setting all around and just managed to avoid the cones.
Yeah, but avoiding those cones really gained them 4 seconds, which is a brilliant improvement. Now we're at the point of the event where there's just half an hour left, and if teams want to get all their runs in, may have to start pushing the car a little bit faster to get to the starting line.
And look at the difference between Augsburg and the number 2 from Munich. They had a 25 on the board, but it was with cones, I can remember. So at least 2 cones are to be added there. So that means that Augsburg now has an 8 or 9 second margin, which is quite a lot. It's 40% or so.
Yeah, they're way ahead. I think Munich actually had 3 cones as well, so it's probably even a little bit more than that. Now we've got car 14 from TU Budapest with us again.
Yeah, we have seen them before. Unfortunately, they had a DNF. I think they might have been one of the teams making an attempt for the timekeeping van. So let's see what they can do in this time around. I can remember that they had one of the fastest starting positions. And they are ready to go.
It's running.
So here we go. Off from a good start. Now negotiating the first corner very well. Now into the difficult part with this kink right here. And a very sharp corner, sharp turn right. Yeah, I think it took a couple of cones and it's unfortunately out of the track. So the button was pushed for the emergency stop.
Yeah, that would be an unsafe stop and a DNF for them. Still made it 2/3 of the way around the course quite successfully until they got to that very tight right-hander just in front of the forum. And yeah, I think on their first run, they made it around the first corner and then had an issue on the second corner. So they got a little bit further around this time, but not quite far enough to make it count. And obviously GFR pushing their car up to the start line for this event.
So GFR, we didn't see them at the driverless skid pad, nor did we see them at the regular manual skid pad. Mickey, you did see them at the acceleration event, right?
Yeah, they were actually the last car to compete in the manual acceleration.
Yeah, that might be the case, because when we had lunch, we saw them still at the brake test area and the scrutineering area. So it's good that they made it. Let's see what they can do here on the driverless autocross. GFR, of course, being a multiple-time winner in the combustion class. I don't even know how much times they won it. I think four or five times, Austin.
Yeah, something along those lines. They were quite dominant for a period about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer ago than that, and sort of.
Well, even when the four-wheel aerodynamic electric cars really started coming up, we often had a final in the endurance when we had 4 of these cars, with one combustion car being GFR, so they were that fast.
Yeah, they were, and it goes back to my time in Formula Student, sort of ending in 2011, 2012 was when they came to prominence and sort of became that dominant force. Obviously, they've had some issues this weekend so far, but now that they've got their campaign on track, let's see how well they can perform here.
GFR is a collaboration between DHBW Ravensburg and the Oregon State University. In the past, they always built 2 cars, or they have done so for quite a long time. This year it's electric. They have been building electric cars for a while now. With the electrics, I think it's fair to say that so far they were not up the level that they were in the combustion phase, but I think they really have the potential to do this, because this team has so many knowledge, such great history, and such a driving force with the 2 countries and 2 universities competing. So fortunately, this car now does the same as what we saw with 3 earlier cars, just before or around the first cone, making a sharp turn. We have 2 left turns now and 2 right turns. But in any case, they passed scrutineering and they're here, Austin.
Yeah, and I think we've got some good things to see tomorrow, especially in the manual events. They're always quite quick. Yeah, that was interesting. I thought they were going to veer left and corrected at the very last minute, and maybe overcorrected and veered right instead. Now got car number 50 approaching our stand from Lisbon.
Preparations being made on the Lisbon car. Stopwatch is running. I think it's all good now. Yes, the tractive system is turned on. Red light is blinking on top of the car. So they made it within the allotted time. And now it's the wait, Austin, for the car to start. As soon as they come up, they will be instructed to push the button. First we have to wait for the golf cart to clear the area, I guess. We're waiting for that one.
You're allowed to start, 30 seconds running.
So just instructed to start a car with a 30 seconds time limit to get going. And here we go. First turn, a bit tentative with a braking point midway. Now onto the difficult parts. It's still there. Yes, it's still there. Very good. Oh, clipping a cone, just missed the braking point. Now it has to come to a controlled stop to complete the mission. And yes, the light is turned blue.
Vamos! Congratulations, please mind the light barrier.
It was an impressive run, Austin.
Yeah, it was quite good. It went through phases of speeding up and slowing down a little bit sporadically. It made it all the way around, which is the important bit. I can count 5 cones down a route.
But all in all, I think they were happy with the result. High-fiving all over, so well done. It's a successful completion of the mission. That's the most important part, because not many cars so far have done so. And even Austin, it was equaling the time that Munich set. I think they had 3 cones, so this will be with 5 cones. So they're a little bit lower than Munich, but still they are one of the 3 teams now successfully completing the mission. So top 3 so far.
Yeah.
You can really see the difference in time for the Lisbon car. They had a 35.3 in their first run, and they scraped off 9 seconds in the second run.
Yeah, it's all about the cones at this point then, I guess. If the trade-off in aggressiveness to cone ratio was advantageous for them. You know, Darmstadt have been very efficient at preparing their car for this run.
Here we go, a bit of a tentative start, but it missed the corner. I think the driver of car 43, they saw a driverless car coming head on, but luckily we have enough space and the button was pressed safely to do a controlled remote stop. But I would have a second look at that, Austin.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the other driver was thinking. We actually spoke about this scenario while we were waiting for some cars to show up. What does the car do when it goes off track? Does it try to find the cones again? Does it keep doing what it was doing? And in speaking with one of the red shirts with quite a lot of experience in the driverless category, he said that their car was set up to just keep doing what it was doing. So if the car was driving straight, it would drive straight and never get back on course. So I think initiating the emergency stop switch in this instance was the right thing to do.
Might have picked up some of the yellow and blue cones in the test area and continue from that point. So up next is car number 90 from Milan. They need to remove that cone, or no, they handle it the proper way. You can clearly hear a compressor sound to charge the brake system. It's done right now. So the car from Milan, first turn right. They're going at quite a pace, Austin.
Yeah, and it's navigating the course so far so good. It's made it through the tricky right-hander, and it's just now in the last kink before finishing. Let's hope we can stop now.
Well, that's the tricky part for this car. In the previous run, it didn't turn to solid blue. Now it does. Well, that's good for them. Both a significant improvement in time, as well as a successful mission complete. So this will put them up in the second place now.
Yeah, and it was a clean run as far as I could see. That's 23.8 is, yeah, a massive improvement. 14 seconds plus they finished.
Well, this is massive, right? From a sort of tentative lap with unsuccessful completion to go to one of the fastest laps of the day and being able to complete it successfully. This will score them huge points for the Driverless Cup.
Yeah, bearing in mind this event is worth 100 points, they've probably gone from getting, well, 0 points all the way up to getting maybe something like 85 or 90 points.
And, not to forget, this is their first year driverless car. I have seen a lot of first year driverless cars. I think none of them were executed so well as the Milan car.
No, I would agree. They've been on it right from the start this weekend, and yeah, if you were to line it up with a whole bunch of the other teams which have had years of experience, you'd never be able to pick them apart.
Another Italian team now lining up their car to the starting position is the team from Napoli. We saw them before. At that time they were exceeding the maximum time allowed of 60 seconds to prepare the car. That didn't count, by the way, as an attempt, so they still have 2 runs left. Let's see if they can keep it within the time limit at the moment.
Speaking of time limits, we've got 12 minutes left in the event. I can see a queue of, I'd say, at least 6 or 7 cars.
Have we seen more combustion driverless cars, Austin? I can't really recall.
No, I think this is the first one we've seen running. This year anyways. Of course, there was a very impressive car from Rome last year.
Commentator favorite.
Yes.
And I heard actually they are building a new car for next year or the year after, so they will be back.
Yeah, some of the challenges with a driverless car are different and more difficult with a combustion car rather than an electric car.
Especially the shifting of the gears and the braking, of course. With an electric car, it's quite simple. Or not quite simple, at least less difficult than with a combustion car.
Yeah, and also the turning and the correcting, because the electric cars can do all sorts of fancy things, especially the four-wheel drive electric cars, whereas in combustion cars it relies completely on the steering. And
it actually put itself in gear now, so we can see it rolling a little bit for the clutch slip. This is the first gear. Let's see if they stay in first. They swerve a little bit, of course, and the emergency switch was pushed, but a very good attempt from Napoli.
yeah, the launch was quite impressive. Like you said, it was just a little bit of a roll at the beginning.
That's what I like about combustion cars. You can see and hear a little bit of what's happening. You can see and hear the clutch engage. You could see the car slowly rolling because of the slip on the clutch. Then into gear, revs are up, and then it goes. So it's a bit easier for us to distinguish what is happening inside the car, while with the electrics it goes or it doesn't, basically.
Yeah, it's a bunch of ones and zeros that we don't have visibility of, so we can't really say what's happening. We just, oh, it went.
Being pushed to the starting line now is car number 78 from Hamburg. The Technical University of Hamburg, that is. Actually, Hawk Hamburg, the other car from Hamburg, is on the practice area just behind us. So we have both Hamburg cars now on track.
Hamburg car is now ready to start its mission.
Oh, and again clipping the cone right in front of the timing beacon. I'm not quite sure, Austin. The steering wheel is turned left. It might was correct.
It looks like it's turned. Yeah, you're right.
Was it correcting? Was this pressing it a bit too soon, maybe?
Yeah, it does look like it was turned left, like it was trying to correct
steering wheel
anyways.
was definitely to the left.
I mean, at this point, crossing the timing line is a moot point, I think.
Just about. Well, on one hand, we of course are quite fond of our timing equipment. On the other hand, I might have given it a little bit longer. I don't know what would have happened, but then again, if it already has difficulties in the first couple of cones, chances that they can complete the rest of the straight and the first turn are of course quite limited. The official running time of this event is about 6 minutes. I'm quite sure that either we will get some extension or not all cars will be able to run. Normally it's the first, so that the cars that are currently in queue could be allowed to run. And then again, I do see some white shirts also close to the queue, so I think they might be discussing where to set the limit, so to say.
Yeah, and we've got to remember as well, we spent about the first hour and a half of this event with no cars whatsoever.
It might be even longer than that, so they have had plenty of time to compete. And at a certain point we should be starting the preparations for tomorrow as well. So rearranging of the track will be done tonight normally. Austin, we were just discussing maybe for next year it would be an idea to have the queue a little bit closer to the starting position, maybe from the other entry point closer to from the pit lane, just to have a little bit less time in the switchover.
Yeah, it's quite a walk and quite a workout for these teams, especially trying to push an electric car with the cogging torque and such. It can be quite a workout. So yeah, I think there's a few options we can maybe discuss with the organizers and see what's possible for next year.
Because we will be getting more and more driverless cars as the years will pass. The driverless events are here to stay. We expect more and more teams to incorporate driverless elements, as the industry does, I would say, into their cars. So yeah, there should be some optimization here.
Yes, we can run a few iterative loops.
Ooh, ooh. I saw the timekeeper the guys in the bus.
That was an action replay of their first run, actually.
I saw movement in the bus for sure. They were really like, oh, what's happening to my timing beacon?
Yeah, no, that was a 100% action replay of the first run. It swerved left, overcorrected, swerved to the right, and just about managed to avoid the timing beacon.
We have the guy with the fast sunglasses again, Austin. You know what that means? Mannheim is here. I think it's cycling glasses or so.
Yeah, I think they are. Or skiing or something like that. Definitely a fast outdoor sport.
Well, he can pull it off. Have to remind me to ask him where to buy these kind of glasses. But the Schaeffler sunglasses are fast as well.
Yeah, I do like the Schaeffler sunglasses.
Team members now anxiously waiting for something to happen. I think we're waiting for the orange light. Here we go. Yes, we can clearly see it. I think this is farther than we come in the first attempt. Okay, we have to wait a bit for the electric car to clear the area and then we will start. Unless it's slowing down. Yes. Here we go. Just a little bit further and the all clear is given. Ooh, that's a fast start. No, overcorrection, still there, still there. No, now it's gone. That's an unfortunate start, Austin. It started okay, and then with an increasing amplitude, it was first swerving from left to right.
Yeah, you've summed it up pretty well. I feel like it was like a slow motion sort of spin out. If we were to speed up that footage by about 10 times, it would probably look quite impressive.
If there would be a pilot inside it, it would have been something like a pilot-induced oscillation, but there's no pilot inside.
See the car from TU Dresden, car 59, has been very efficient at getting to the starting line. It is, of course, now 6:30, which is the official closing time for the event. So let's see what happens after this.
Usually the time remaining is the inverse of the amount of white shirts near the queue area. So the more white shirts you will see over there. Okay, he now walked through the timing beacon. The keepers of time are resetting the systems. Action going on in the timekeeping van. I think it was 2 clicks of the mouse. Now it's fixed.
I think we know who's buying the beer for the timekeeping team this evening, though.
Okay, I think we're good to go, Austin. See, I see Trondheim, I think, lining up at the front of the queue for the second attempt.
One of the team members just looked up to us and said fingers crossed, so we can expect this to hopefully be quite exciting.
Well, let's cross the fingers.
Once again, after repeated clicks, the car does not start its mission, and the emergency operative is forced to press the emergency switch and abort the mission. Up next we have Trondheim. After that we can see Ulm lining up. And I think that might be Napoli behind them. They have 1 run left as well. So, NTNU Trondheim, Austin, we saw them before. They had, unfortunately, a DNF. Well, one of the teams that were really up there in the skid pad and acceleration events. Both were very close. They nearly got it at the skid pad event, the manual skid pad event.
did quite well at the driverless skid pad as well, if I recall correctly, and also the manual acceleration. They were really up there with the best teams. It was super close, as Mickey just elaborated. So they're really in it to win it so far, at least for the regular competition. Let's see if they can nick the driverless cup as well. In order to do so, they would need a low 20s, half 20s lap. So with no lap yet on the board, they have to take some risks now. I think on the rear wing the car says Aurora. You can really see it on the livery as well. The Northern Lights, the Aurora. It's quite nice. Here we go. It's a bit tentative, but unfortunately that's the end of their mission.
Yeah, it was a bit tentative, but at least the car stopped quite close to the exit of the dynamic area.
Yeah, but you could see it. It started to become a little bit more tentative as the corner went on. So yeah, it basically lost it a little bit.
It's sort of like, it reminded me of my dog when it sort of does something that she knows she's not supposed to be doing very tentatively, and once she breaks out, she just starts to run free, and that's basically what the car did just there.
So we are now questioning ourselves whether it's the end. So let's get the confirmation from Christian, but certainly all the movement around us does indicate so. Confirmed. So this was it for the end of the day. We kept to the schedule, I think about 6:30. The last car was allowed to make an attempt, and after that the track was closed. Austin, we saw quite an interesting track autocross today. It looks promising for tomorrow, for the track drive.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a few cars we can look out for tomorrow who are clearly head and shoulders above the rest. But there were a few others which managed to complete runs, and a few which completed runs but weren't able to stop. So I think we've got, quite an event tomorrow morning at the track drive.
So the fastest time of the day was set by Augsburg and closely followed by Milan. Number 3 was the TU Munich, and number 4 was the team from Lisbon. Einstein Motorsport also has a time on the board, but I think they did not manage to successfully complete their mission. So that time probably won't count, but again, this is unofficial. So that means that we have 4 cars completing the autocross today. We will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little bit later, but quite early for the autocross track drive. And I hope you have a good night, and we see you and hear you tomorrow.